Hey guys, welcome to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast, special quarantine series, episode number 5. Special guest today, someone who I've been kind of attached to for 15 years from The Ultimate Fighter Season 1. He was the coach of the opposite team of me. He went on to fight Randy Couture in what was at the time the biggest grossing UFC pay-per-view of all time, I believe. And he won that fight by knockout, an icon of the sport, a legend of the sport, the face of the sport for many, many years. My friend and TUF 1 alum, coach of the opposite team, Mr. Chuck Liddell. All right, Chuck, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
You look great, man.
Thanks. Not really, but I'm good. I'm getting back in shape.
Well, you look good, man. And
trying to get back in shape. I feel good. Everything's great. I'm healthy. Good.
I want to say, so having you on the podcast at this particular time and date and everything is kind of significant. So do you remember when you were on the podcast before our podcast? And
I remember being on.
Yeah, so that was exactly 2 years ago today. So it was like exactly 2-year anniversary.
Crazy.
Not that that's one of the biggest anniversaries you've ever had in your life, but for us, I thought it was a weird coincidence. Now, let me follow that up.
It was weird. Like, I would think, yeah, it was weird. The other day, it's been 15 years since the season.
That's what I was saying. Let me follow that up. Yeah, let me follow up the 2-year anniversary of you being on the podcast to the 15-year anniversary of the TUF finale, which was last week. I just had Forrest Griffin on a couple nights ago, and we talked about that. And then yesterday, 15 years ago, from you fighting Randy Couture in the coach versus coach of The Ultimate Fighter, and what was, I think, probably the most highest grossing significant fight in UFC history at that time, correct?
At that time, yeah, by far.
And of course, you won it, being the
far.
Mr. Badass that you are. So how?
Man, yeah. And everyone always asks me to pick a favorite fight, and I always say there's a lot of them, but that's it. If you put a gun to my head, that's something I had to pick one. That would be it.
Yeah, of
course.
course.
I got the title after doing the show, and and it was huge.
What's your thoughts of that, man?
Do it my way.
I know you've been asked a million times, just going back to the Ultimate Fighter. But what's your thoughts of that? Like just in general of like 15 years. I mean, like that seems like it's passed so fast. Like it seems like we were just in the house not that long ago, and it's like 15 years. That's a long ass time.
Oh yeah, man, it's crazy. Time flies, man. I can't believe. Shoot, man, I've been retired 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, Jesus. And then the fight with had my fight with Alex Schonauer on the finale, which was your guy. Tell me, was that the only fight you ever rooted against me?
Yes, that would have been the only fight I ever. Yeah, it was hard, man. You know the hardest one for me. You want to talk about that? You know the Von Flue choke, right?
Yeah, I know the Von Flue. Yeah, the choke. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what he did it on?
I know. No, I just know that it's the
Alex Karalexis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And after the fight, he was on Randy's team, but we became really good friends after that. And he always gives me shit because he's like, yeah, I woke up, and I saw you cheering, and I thought I won.
Oh man.
Because Von Flue Von Flue fought out of my gym.
Okay, yeah.
He was my guy. I knew him I knew him forever, right? Von Flue was my guy, but I actually got him on the show. He got on the Ultimate Fighter because some guys quit or something. I'm like, hey, bro, I told you, but you put my guy on, I promise you he won't quit.
Yeah. That's funny, man, because like I remember the Von Flue choke at Von Flue. I just never remembered who he did it to, but I remember it was the guillotine, and then he reversed it into that choke, and then I've only seen it a few times since then, but crazy.
Yeah.
So good to know.
It's one of those things he did that on his own, but it was because he was always rolling with all these big meatheads that come in, like guys at the gym, and they would hold on. They get your head, and they just hold it.
Yeah, try to pull his head off.
He learned how to figure out how to just leave his head in there and then choke him.
Nice. He also drank.
What?
He also drank his own pee, correct? Is he the same?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't think so.
Is he the same guy that they said drank his first pee in the morning before Machida? It was like him, and then it was Machida. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong.
He might. I mean, I don't know.
It didn't happen in front of you at the gym.
He's an interesting cat. I love the guy, but he's an interesting cat.
I'll have to Google that to make sure. I may be wrong, but that's what I thought. So obviously we had the Ultimate Fighter finale. What was your? I want to get just between me and you. Obviously, like it's been 15 years. What was your thoughts during the process of the show? Like during the, as the show was going on, it seems like the show just kind of peaked at Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonnar, but it was like up until that point, it did just significantly get better and better and better and better. And like, what were your thoughts that night? Like, because obviously you knew what was on the line for the TV show and for the UFC.
Oh, man.
What were your thoughts?
Like, look here. It was our first that night. It's our first fight on, on free TV.
Yep.
First big fight live on free TV. Right now, it could have been Adam Sanya. It could have been Adam Sanya and what's his name? And Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
It could have been a fight like that, and then maybe we wouldn't have blow up so fast. But what better fight could happen that night? And by the way, I love both of those. Two of the guys I really like to watch fight. So I was really disappointed with the fight.
It's just sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you think. I mean, you take two great fighters and they just don't mesh.
It just seemed like they just were just trying to give each other too much credit, or just not. And I mean, Yoel, I get it, but if he's not going to, if he's just going to sit there and outscore you and stay away from you, you got to go after him. I don't know. Anyway, that's a.
Yeah. Well, sorry for letting you down the one time you went against me, but anyway, at least you have my back since then, so that's good. But that was an awesome show.
That whole show, the whole thing. Remember when they first started? They did a really good job of evolving through the show, like as we were going, because we were going to vote off a guy, then fight a guy off.
Yep.
Vote off a guy, then fight a guy off. Like it was like. That would have been horrible. The only guy that got voted off was a guy that probably would thank God he got voted off, so he didn't get killed.
I think Dana got overexcited and said instead of voting people off, we're gonna have to start beating people off. I think was his words, if I remember correctly. He goes, "I got some good news, guys. Instead of voting each other off, now we're gonna start beating each other off." And we were just like, "I don't know about this." This angle's going a little different than we thought. That's crazy. And then so then that obviously happened in an amazing fight by you against Randy Couture. And how much did that change your life? I mean, I know you've answered these questions a lot, but just really quick, how much did that change your life going from you were the face of the UFC? So I mean, you at that point you didn't have to be the champ before. You were already the face of the UFC and such a big star. How much did that one fight change everything? I mean, like just that one fight.
Well, it wasn't just the fight; it was just the show. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. The combination.
The show, the whole show and the fight. Like I was in right after the show. I was in Tampa at a mall, right? And normally I could walk. Before that, I could walk in and I could tell you. And walk around and go, that guy know who I am. That guy knows me probably, and that guy just by the way they dress and walking around, right? I had like a 6-year-old lady walk up, hey, great fight the other night, and then
that's when you know.
And they had like all these random people, hey, and they got people pointing at you and looking at me. I'm used to it now, but like then I was like, oh, did I do something? Is something wrong with me?
That's so funny, man. See, I was never as big of a... It
was that fast. It was that different.
I was never as big of a star as you, but we obviously got our recognition after the show. And I know what you mean because, like, after The Ultimate Fighter, we got, I guess, famous in MMA and everything, and I could also tell who would recognize me. And it was funny because if I saw somebody in a tap-out shirt or, these gym buffs or whatever, like, I would know they would recognize me. But if I saw, like, a really hot chick, like a beautiful girl, like my age group or whatever, like, I knew she would have no earthly idea who the hell I was. It was complete opposite of the people you want to recognize you, but it was still cool. And then it changed. Now it's completely changed. It's like completely opposite, but to the guys now that are obviously superstars. But yeah, those were the old days.
Yeah, for sure. That's why that Dana used to jokes around about. I used to say that, man. How come none of these girls know who I am? It's all guys.
It's just guys, yeah. Back then it was, but it was a great transition. It was great to be a part of that, and it was cool being there with you and everybody in the house.
I always say, people ask me all the time about it. Like, I'm like, yeah, would I like to be around when nowadays where you could fight? I could have fought 5 times a year. If I stayed healthy, I would have fought 5 times a year. But I wouldn't have missed the ride. I mean, I had such a good time with all the stuff coming up and growing the sport and traveling and doing different things, and it was a good ride.
Yeah, I was gonna get into the quarantine thing. This is more of a quarantine series special because I'm really curious about what all these, characters of MMA, these personalities of MMA fighters and retired fighters and stuff, what they're doing in this quarantine and handling it. But since you mentioned that, I definitely wanted to ask you, do you think, I asked Forrest Griffin the same exact thing, do you think that we, especially you, being the face of the UFC and how big of a star you were, do you feel you were ahead of your time, and are you regretful of that? Or are you appreciative that maybe you the sport was less saturated and you were able to become a bigger star at that time than now where it's so much more competition? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel more regretful that you couldn't have been like the Conor McGregor of now, considering you were the face of the UFC at that time, he's the face now, and there's obviously the difference in stardom? Or do you feel like it was rightly done in a way that we at least got our share of something we might not have?
Yeah, I love the ride. I love being there, but I mean, obviously, it's a mixed bag. I mean, would I want to be there now? Yeah, I'd love to be in my prime right now.
Yeah, of course.
That would be awesome. But it is what it is. But I wouldn't change the past. I had a great time. Made good times. Made mistakes. Did a lot of different things, man. But life is good.
Yeah, I feel like, in my opinion, I mean, you saw my fighting style. It was like just all or nothing kind of thing. I didn't answer the question with force, but my answer to that question is kind of like, I think I was in the right time at the right place only because we had such a big jump coming off The Ultimate Fighter. And I was on countdown shows. I was on preview shows. All my fights were on the main card. They were featured. And right now, coming into the UFC, it's like super, super hard to become known and become famous because there's so many fighters. And not only that, but there's like so much talent. So I feel like I couldn't do today what I could have done back then with my talent pool. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I was at the right place at the right time for me personally. I feel like I'm playing a video game now.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm moving because my phone just let me know I have 10% battery. I don't know how it lost so much battery so fast. I thought my wife was right in there. So I was going to grab the charger from her, but oh well. Hopefully 10% will be enough.
How's the family?
Family's great, man. We're all home, being together and having a good time. We're just playing and goofing off and. What do you see? What
do you see for Chuck Liddell Jr.? What do you see for him in the future? Would you want him to be a fighter or an athlete at all, or would you rather pursue something else with him?
Honestly, I want him to know how to fight, and if he wants to be a fighter, I'll support it. But if he doesn't, it's not something I'm going to push on him. But I think he wants to be a fighter.
Yeah, probably. He probably does.
But I had surgery and on my knee, and I was limping, and I was like, Dad, why are you limping? And I said, well, I've beat my body up for about 40 years, and sooner or later you have to get it fixed. And I just beat it up doing it in fighting. And he goes, and after I told him that story, he goes, Dad, I want to be a fighter. I was just telling you I beat up because of that. And no, I want to be a fighter.
It's that alpha.
All right, son.
That alpha inside of us.
Or like the kids were picking out videos, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to pick up videos to the strip to come with us, and they got the regular trainer drag in. And my son picks up me and Tito won the first one. He picks that one up too and throws it in with the disc that he wants to watch. He's like, he wants to watch my fight videos.
That's awesome. That's crazy. It's yeah. You either have to find a DVD or you gotta have Fight Pass these days. Like you can't find it anywhere else. Like they've got the UFC videos on lockdown so tight. Like you can't even begin to find a fight on YouTube anymore of us, any of our fights. Like you literally got to go to Fight Pass or you got to have a DVD. Like that's just it.
Yeah. Luckily, they gave me a bunch of DVDs back in the day. I got a bunch of them all over the place.
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick.
Hey, there's another fight.
Go ahead.
I see them. I never collected all my like a lot of my memorabilia stuff. I kept it, but I didn't really keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep track of it. So I keep finding. We've been cleaning out the house. I cleaned out a lot of places. I keep finding. Oh, hey, this is pretty cool. But someone probably like that. Like old the placards with different fights and stuff. Found my old trophy from my old trophy all beat up and worn from. I was like, you don't even. I don't care. Like from fighting Pele down in Brazil. It's just like
that was a sick fight.
Why do you think? Yeah, that was an awesome fight.
I mean, wasn't there like a rope fence around the bottom of the cage where y'all couldn't crawl out of the ring? No, it was a cage, it was a ring. And you couldn't crawl out, so you just he was wrapped in the rope and just getting punched in the face. Oh my God, no gloves.
Punching him in the face. I was leaning out the cage, punching him through the rope.
Yeah.
through the netting.
Savage.
It was pretty funny.
That is sad. And so for me, for memorabilia, I've recently, or not recently, but I finally got my fight posters. Like 9 of my 15 fight posters from UFC shipped to Thailand. I have them hanging in my office, and they're all signed by every fighter. So obviously, yeah, that's cool for me just seeing that. I mean, that's like, I have a lot of signatures on those posters, so it was pretty damn cool, the finale and all that. So speaking of the quarantine series and everything, what we're doing this about, what do you think about this crazy virus and like what are you doing to quarantine? Because like I'm looking at the stats in America and it's going like crazy there. Like there's 681,000 cases in America right now and 35,000 people dead. I mean, we're half past.
Well, I mean, they're saying that. A lot of it they thought it was there. Like my wife looked back. She thinks she had it in like the end of December, January. Had that she had all the symptoms for COVID, right? But we took her. We had chest X-ray. We did all this stuff because she was having problems. And she's healthy as hell. She's in great shape. And they finally she just started getting better, and they didn't do anything. They couldn't figure out what it was. So, I mean, I think looking back, that might be. So I've been here for a while, and I don't know. I mean, there's so many different reports out there. It's hard, there's so many. It's hard to tell what's what. Like what's what people are. What should you do? What do you have to do? I mean, we can't hide forever either. It's like the economy. I mean, people start. I mean, I've got people calling me all the time. I lost my job. I don't know. They're already worried about. When I hope it starts up soon because I'm gonna lose my house. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm carrying the weight of AKA Thailand. And like the thing is, in Thailand, we don't have the freedom in America of like our rights basically. So they basically tell us to get off the streets, and we have to be off the streets. And like I've literally been in this house. This is my house. I've been in this house for like weeks, like except just to go to the grocery store and back. And then I got to cross checkpoints. All the different areas of Thailand, you remember like Patong, Karan, Kata, Rawai, Chilong, all the different areas. They're like neighborhoods. They're not even like cities. They're all blocked off. Like I can't even go see Mark, who by the way says hello. He misses not being here right now. I can't even see Mark. I can't even go to the gym. I can't even go to the bank. Like I'm stuck in this small district where my house is and the beach and that's it, man. Like we're locked down, and they're completely like scoping out the areas that have of corona. They're going in there, and like it's almost like they're hunting terrorists, but they're just getting the guys with corona, sweeping them out, finding out who else has it, testing everybody, and they're getting rid of it. I mean, they're making a difference, but it's like a real crazy way of doing it.
The funny thing is, I was watching a couple different guys that are, whatever they call them, virologists or whatever they do the virus stuff. they're saying, really, I mean, we need like 70-80% of the population to have had it, so that they're immune. So then you're not, that's what's eventually going to have to happen.
Right.
So I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, I'm glad I'm not in the position to make the decisions on what they're supposed to do.
Are you taking precautions?
I mean, we live in a gated community. We got a nice house. Well, I mean, we got a lot of space. So far, no one has it in our neighborhood. So, I mean, I do all the normal stuff. I do what they tell you. I mean, I do what they tell you. I wear a mask when I'm around people, and I go, I'll go into. I mean, but we had to come down and help my wife's mom, and she's moving to a new place and do all that stuff in the middle of this. And that's not, you can't avoid everything. You can't just not help people.
Yeah, and it's weird because I don't know if it's a good thing that you have the freedom that you have, but it's hard for me to even have a grasp of, like, me and Mark were talking today, but we've been so without freedom for so long. Like, if we get caught on the street in Thailand without a mask, it's $600 fine. For like, and we could get taken away for that. Like, we don't know, like the different, because it's like you're risking people's lives is the way they see it. So it's like we're wearing masks when we drive. We go straight to the grocery store. We come home, and that's it. Like, we can't even go into swimming pools. Like, I have a pool here, and we can get fined $3,000 or a year in prison if we go in any swimming pool, including our own. Like, I don't even know where that came from, but that's literally a mandated rule.
Well, I mean, it's just weird to me. I mean, it just seems like everybody's. I mean, I don't know. It just seems so crazy, the stuff they're doing. It's like, it's nuts. I mean, they closed like the hiking trails here. Like, you can't go on. I mean, we took the kids the other day, but
yeah,
we're the only ones on the trail. We were the only ones on the trail, so it was fine.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. And so, and I know you're on 10% battery power. So you have a movie coming out, Cagefighter, and then you did the one D-Day Omaha, right? With Randy Couture and Coppola. So are you pursuing? Is what you're doing now more so pursuing film? Is that what you're trying to? Is that what your passion is?
I'm really trying to get taking a bigger leap towards more movies and doing stuff. I'm working on getting some of the more regular classes too. I'm working on it. I just signed with the ICM, so I got that agency working for me. So I finally got my first. I never really had an agency for that, so I'm really trying to get after it that way.
That's awesome.
And actually, that Cagefighter is going to be. It'll be. They're doing a pay-per-view event on FITE TV, May 16th. So you have to look at, not in the U.S. It's not in the U.S., but everywhere else.
Okay.
Everywhere else, it's a one-time event if people want to see it.
So I can order it here then from FITE.
It's just FITE TV. It's on it. I think it's on it. They're trying to do it at 7 in like Japan, Australia, and 7 o'clock in. There's 3 different time zones they do that. They're going to do it, but. Just check it out on the website. Their FITE TV's website. So,
do you have any plans to come back to Thailand when this is all over with and come back and hang out a little bit, or?
I don't really like you, but
why have you been saying that for like 15 years? You always say this to me. No, actually.
No, we still have to come back. We have to come back for Wake On. We have to come back and see coming to all the places, and we didn't see enough places when we were there last time.
Yeah.
We saw about half the country when we were there last time, so.
I know the places you want to see.
Yes, we will stop by and see you.
Okay.
What?
I said I know the places you want to see.
North. We didn't go.
Chiang Mai. Yeah, Chiang Mai. And then I want to ask you one question too.
I want to do that for sure. So that'll get us over there.
Yeah. Once you get over the corona and you get safe from that, you can go get malaria up in Chiang Mai. It's a lot better.
I'll see what I got. Yeah, might as well, right?
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to take a second to thank our sponsor, AKA Thailand. I know you hear about this a lot, but it is our sponsor. We have to advertise our gym. We are closed right now, obviously, but we will reopen when this crisis is over. The way Thailand is handling the epidemic here, along with many Asian countries and many countries in this part of the world, it seems like it's going to be relatively soon. We are very much in quarantine, very unlike what could happen in America. They could never do what they're doing here. We are literally locked in our houses. So we expect this gym will be open soon. And that being said, we are still offering the 30% discount. So as it gets closer to time to come back, and you guys are getting anxious and excited about coming and training at AKA Thailand and coming to Phuket and experiencing all these different things, I'm going to save you guys 30%. So you can go to akathailand.com, and all the pricing on the pricing section of the website is updated at 30% discount right now. It's the biggest discount we've ever given. It's called our Reopen Special. We do have a budget that we can only go to. We allocated a certain amount of money that we can go to at 30% off because it's a third of our revenue. So obviously we're going to lose a lot of money if we continue to do this and people keep doing it for, crazy amounts of months and even possibly years. There are people that come here for a year at a time. As of right now, we are not at that budget. So you can go on the website. You can book any training you want up to a year. You can book a week session. It's group training classes, by the way. Only group training classes. It can't be, obviously, the travel packages with the taxis and the accommodations and the food plans and such. But the training classes that are group classes, MMA, BJJ, strength and conditioning, Airdyne, and Muay Thai. 30% discount. You can book a week, you can book 2 weeks, you can book a month, you can book 3 months, you can book 6 months, you can book a year at 30% right now. If you have any questions, info@akathailand.com, and you can go to akathailand.com and book. If you don't have any questions, it's plain and simple. The pricing is one way. You can't mess it up. And anyway, I want to thank you all for bearing with us with this crisis, and we hope to see you soon and enjoy some good training here in Thailand. All right, Chuck, you're back, man. You got the phone charged. You cut out there, so obviously you said that the phone was on 10%.
Yeah,
so
I don't know how it died that fast. Sorry about that.
No worries, man.
I'm sorry about cutting you off. Number one.
No worries, man. Yeah, that's exactly
the look. There's like a slight delay, so it messes me up.
That look that you just gave was the exact look that it was like stuck on. And I couldn't tell if you like were cut off or if you were just like staring me down. And it took me like a few seconds and I was like, no, we lost him. He's not doing that again. Okay, cool. So I was going to ask you, so during the TV show, something that didn't happen, I was talking to Forrest about, or something that didn't get shown on the TV show that actually did happen was the very last night I had fought Stephan Bonner on the final fight of the show. And then that night, Stephan Bonner decided he wanted some alcohol and we couldn't leave the house. So he decided to take a shower and crawl through the smallest window I've ever seen in my life and then go 2 miles and get alcohol, of which he got caught, surprisingly. And the interesting factor of why I'm bringing this up is that Stephan Bonner almost got kicked off the TV show. It was very, very, very close of him getting kicked off. And that was after we fought, which means I would have fought Forrest Griffin in the finale. And so I was talking to Forrest about that, about how it's funny how things work out because that fight had to happen the way it was to be the fight that it was, to be the greatest fight in UFC history of two guys just pounding each other's faces in for 15 straight minutes. And in my opinion, I just think if I had fought Forrest,
for a better fight.
Yeah, if I had fought Forrest and he got kicked off the show and it was me and Forrest in the finals and the finale, it could have been the most devastating knockout either way. And like it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have been the greatest fight.
It still would have been a great fight. That still would have been a great fight.
It wouldn't have been the fight though. Because one of us would have been knocked out.
You can't write it. You couldn't have, as a writer, you couldn't have written a better fight.
Yeah,
I agree. To have as our first free fight, live fight for the audience to see. I mean, it's crazy. We couldn't ask for better.
Yeah, I think Dana was saying how like during that fight, it was like the ratings were going up as if like people were like calling their friends and basically saying like, tune into the show and watch this fight because it's crazy. So like it was like between that 15 minutes of fighting, the ratings just kept getting higher and higher and higher and higher. So you're right, that was an amazing fight. So even though I was sad about not being in the finale and being able to fight Forrest, I mean, that was the greatest fight that could have possibly happened. But going from there, I wanted to ask something that I've never heard you answer, and I've always wondered, being a guest, not a guest, but a fighter on that show, like. So Forrest, I mean, Stefan wanted to have some alcohol, have some fun, and get out of the house. We were stir crazy. So I know what it was like to be stir crazy inside the house. What was it like for you guys? Like, what did y'all do while we were in the house? Did you guys get to go out and have fun and do cool stuff, or were y'all in a house or in a hotel? Like, what were y'all doing?
They had an apartment, a nice apartment, and yeah, we just we had a good time. I had a good time. It was a lot of fun. We were going in, going out. Although it was we had the day off. Remember, we were gonna have the day off. We were gonna have the day off the day that you guys just got the alcohol taken away after Lieben went nuts.
Yeah, and Diego.
Yeah, but
I like how you say
we get called in. We had an emergency. Hey, by the way, we got an emergency call in at the day after Halloween in Vegas. I was out for Halloween in Vegas all night. When I was Vegas Halloween, we get called in at 8 o'clock in the morning when we had the day off. Like, I had the day off till the night. We didn't have to train you guys till night. They called me. I'm lucky I answered my phone. I'm like,
yeah, y'all didn't look happy.
8 o'clock in the morning right now.
Yeah, we fucked that night up.
It was funny when I was sitting there. That was when they had the great line. Hey, man, that guy's got issues. I'm like, we all got issues. What are you talking about? We fight for a living.
They're trying to justify why a bunch of cage fighters acted crazy for one night. It's like, clearly we veered off the course of normalcy at some point to decide to fight in a cage for a living.
But it's like you put. Look, I tell people all the time. Look, think about this. They have less rights than prisoners do in jail.
Yeah.
They're stuck in a house. I mean, it's a nicer house, but you've got no TV, you got no radio, you got, they're messing with you. They were messing with you guys. Like, you guys asked for bananas, they give you 5 to share between all of you. They were messing with you that way. They put alcohol in the house on purpose.
Yeah.
So if you get bored and start drinking and do crazy stuff. They were instigating stuff. They tell you guys said stuff about you in the confessional things and whatever. Look, they were trying to create drama. And that was their job. They were really trying. I mean, we got in, and the funny thing is like, did you? I mean, I don't know how they treated you guys, but they started out trying to treat us like they do other reality show people. Started yelling at us. I had a guy. Have you heard that story about Kenny Florian? When they came in and they told me he's got to get out there in 5 minutes after okay, I'll tell you the story. So he was wrapping his hands, right? We had to get his hands wrapped, and the guy was late showing up to wrap his hands. And remember, the fights, they're going to film them and air them a month later or whatever, right?
Yeah.
A couple months later. So I'm like, no, the guy comes out, and this is just like some assistant guy. One of the guys, not even anybody I knew who he was, comes in and goes, hey, he's got to be out there in 5 minutes. Oh, man, it's going to be 15, 20 minutes. He just got his hands taped. I need 15, 20 minutes to warm him up. And the guy goes, hey, you need to get out there right now. I'm like, what the hell did you just say? He's like, his eyes got this big. He's like, shit. Like, I started walking. Because I got up and I started walking. I said, what the hell did you just say? I started walking at him, and he got up and got Andrea, and she came back in and started screaming at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, look here. I'm like, look here, you B. You hired me to be these guys' coach, so I'm going to treat them like they're my guys. And he's not ready to go. He's not warmed up. I'm not letting him go. If you don't like it, you can go ask Dana and Lorenzo who they want to fire, me or you.
Yeah, exactly.
And she went back, and so she Well, I mean, me and her got along later. I mean, but we had to argue with them. You know, you guys were on that show for 60 days.
Yeah.
They wanted us to work you out twice a day for 60 straight days.
Yeah, we did.
I'm
it's
like,
crazy.
I mean, and they wanted us, and they one of those crazy challenges, and then they wanted to be, and they're fighting. I'm like, dude, I'm like, they're human. They need to have light days. They need to relax. They need to, they can't. You need time off sometimes. You can't do 60 straight days. You're gonna kill these kids.
I knew something was up when we came in the house, and it was like 16 of us fighters, like real legit fighters from like all different parts of the country. And we go in the living room, and like the entertainment that they had set up for us, because we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have TV, we didn't have anything like remotely interesting. It was just like a chessboard. I was like, who the hell here is going to play chess? And of course it was Sam Hoger, but I was like, who the hell here is going to play chess? Like, that's what you give us, chess? But yeah, they clearly wanted us to get into trouble and like and fight amongst each other and cause some drama. It was funny. It worked. Hey, it worked, man. We changed the sport, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like back then, I tell you about it. The one thing about the show back then is all these guys that showed up to the show, they did it because they wanted to be in the UFC. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about fame at the time, because no one knew what it was going to do. No one knew they were going to be famous. They just, hey, I can get into the UFC this way. This is how I'm getting into the UFC. And they thought they were fighting for one spot in the UFC. They didn't know that they were going to bring everybody in, or they're going to bring most of the guys in. You know, that wasn't. They decided to give other guys contracts because they thought they're good enough. Not because they were required to, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Well, I'll let you go, man. I know you got a lot going on. You've been doing interviews all day. I saw you with Ariel. You did another interview before that, and I know you got one scheduled after this. But I really appreciate it, man. You always take time out for me, and I appreciate talking to you. And it's been a fun ride for 15 years. I look forward to seeing you in the movie industry and doing films and TV shows and stuff. And man, stay safe over there, because that corona, I wake up every day and look at the updates, and it's scary, man. Y'all are in the epicenter over there, so be safe and don't get that shit.
I'm gonna try not to. Thanks.
All right, man. And when this is all over with, I'm gonna bring you back to Thailand.
Tell people to check out their Cagefighter that one night.
Yeah,
it's overseas, outside of the U.S. and it's one night, May 15th. May 16th. Sorry. 16th.
Send me the information. Text me the information, and I'll post it, and we'll watch it for sure, 100%.
All right.
I was looking up the trailer and everything for that, so it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of cool people in there, so I'm excited about it.
Awesome.
All right, take care, Chuck. Hey, I'll talk to you later, brother. All right, there you go, Chuck Liddell. Always good to talk to him again. 2 years ago, he was on the show, exactly to this day. Back on again. Love talking to Chuck. Such a cool guy. A lot of people ask me, is he a cool guy in person? He is, man. And you probably saw it in the podcast. Maybe. He jokes a lot. He's awesome. Good friend for many years. You know, we've been attached since the TUF One reality show. And yeah, so it's great having him on the show. We're going to keep these going. And I got some great guests lined up for the future here in the next week. So it's the very near future. And so subscribe. If you're listening on the audio platforms, make sure you subscribe to those: Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iTunes. If you're on those audio platforms, check us out on YouTube. It's always better to see us talking, and it's just a better experience if you can. And subscribe to us on YouTube. Makes us feel good. I want to build up these subscribers on YouTube so we can feel like we have a cool show. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, listening, leaving comments, giving us your feedback. I appreciate it. This is a hobby of ours, doing this. It's usually me and Mark. He's in quarantine right now, so it's just me right now. But this is fun for us to talk to our friends, fighters, celebrities, and different personalities in the sports world or entertainment world, and it's great to share that with you guys and know that you're enjoying it as well. So thank you all for listening, watching, and see you next time.
Real quick with Mike Swick. Real quick with Mike Swick.